The Dallas Cowboys lost to the Green Bay Packers in a game where the Cowboys were up 28-14 heading into the fourth quarter. And there was a lot of problems here. This game went to overtime when it shouldn't have. The Cowboys could not cover Christian Watson, who up to this point had never had a good game in the NFL. All of a sudden, 4 catches, 100 plus yards, 3 touchdowns. The Cowboys could not cover it. The Cowboys could not get pressure when they needed it. They also could not stop the run. I don't care what anyone says. The Cowboys could not stop the run. It's a problem. They gotta fix it. It's gotta be fixed now. Because you have 2 games in a span of 11 days. You have to find a way to win. Because now you're 6th in the division. Right? Now you're 6th. You're 3rd in the division, but you're 6th in the playoff race. Right now, you'd be facing Minnesota. Right now. If the playoffs started today, you'd face Minnesota. So it's the same formidable opponent that you would be facing this weekend. But you can't stop the run. You can't. Anthony Brown got a concussion. He left the game. You could not cover Christian Watson. You couldn't get pressure when you needed it. I understand you tried to stop the run, so you didn't have Michael Parsons at the defensive line. But you couldn't get pressure when you needed it. You couldn't, on offense, you could not move the ball in the fourth quarter. You just couldn't. You took dumb penalty after dumb penalty after dumb penalty. But in overtime, you're moving down the field. You're moving down the field. You're going down the field. You're moving down the field. And then all of a sudden, 3 penalties. An offside on the offense because your young wide receiver lines up wrong. 2 holding penalties. One, I'm still trying to figure out what the holding penalty was. He grabbed the defensive lineman's shirt, but he didn't grab the shoulders. He grabbed around the rib. Not really restricting him in any way. Also, he kind of just went and pulled it to his body. So he's not restricting him really in any way. If anything, you could say, well, yeah, but he fell down. I got news for you. That's not a hold if he falls down. So I don't agree with that. On the 4th down, I don't agree with the play call. I thought they probably should have ran it on 3rd down. That's a failure from your coaching staff. I don't agree with the play call on 4th down. Because the offensive line was bad. When they had the run block, they were good. But when they were having the pass block, they were terrible. They just did not look in sync all night long. Which is strange because the Packers don't have much of a pass rush. So the fact that they were even getting pressure, not good. Dak Prescott had 2 interceptions in the red zone, or green zone area, as some people call it. One he had in the red zone. The other one was in midfield. Here's what happened. On the first interception, you have Dalton Schultz. He's supposed to clear the area so no one follows CeeDee Lamb. The problem was it was a zone that the Packers were running. And Schultz wasn't running fast enough to clear it out. So what happened was by the time Dak threw it, it wasn't cleared out, and CeeDee Lamb's having to jog the whole route because Schultz is not actually running the whole route. And it forced Dak into a position where he threw an interception. The second one was CeeDee Lamb's fault, as in he, again, in 2 games, the last 2 games, he's made this mistake twice. He's supposed to cross the face of the safety and catch the ball. That's the idea. So the safety can't get down. If anything, he just knocks the ball away. But Lamb, for the second time in 2 games, he ran and he tried to go over the safety. But the throw isn't, that play's not designed to do that, and the throw wasn't designed to do that. Now, you can say, well, Dak messed that up. Okay, you can, but it's not right. That's not a right thing. The first one I understand, the second one I do not. But if you're the Cowboys, how much more can you do? Penalties after penalties after penalties. You get a punt return, it gets called back because of a personal foul. That isn't a personal foul. You get a DPI that's not called, that probably should have been called. You can't move the ball when you need to. You get penalties when you don't want it. You can't penalties that need to be fixed. It needs to be fixed. Which leads me to the officiating crew. It always seems, and I'm not just saying Cowboys game, but it always seems when Brad Allen's crew calls an NFL game that there's more penalties in that game. It just always seems that way. It always seems like there's more penalties when Brad Allen calls a game than anything. It's almost like they just decide who wants to win, and then after a while, they say, well, no, we gotta switch to the other side now. That's what happens. And it's annoying, because there's teams that really need wins. And when you have a game like that, and you have a referee who does that, it's almost shocking at times. But I want to leave you with this. In the 62-year history of this franchise, of the Dallas Cowboys franchise, the Cowboys, when leading 14 points in the fourth quarter, before the game against the Packers, were 195-0 when they lead by 14 points in the fourth quarter. Now they're 195-1 because they couldn't find a way to stop Christian Watson, Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon, excuse me. You couldn't figure that out? You're not designed to win anything. This team has the talent to do it, but they did not play well against the Packers.